South Africa is the host nation, and South Africa is where all the noise of the vuvuzelas are happening, the horns. You know, Dave, that's our World Cup update, and we'll have another one coming up at 5:20. You know, Dave, we've both been around football a long time. We've seen, the cowbells that were a big part of college football down through the years, but nothing quite like that noise coming from those vuvuzelas.
No, I used to think that those ball bearings in cans at Stephenville.
There you go.
But, this far exceeds that.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, 390 Live is our number. Let's go to the phones, and Zach leads us off first. Zach, thanks for waiting. Good afternoon. You're on with Dave Campbell on AM 1300 The Zone.
How are you today? Good to be with you.
Interesting. You're talking about where Texas plays Nebraska on October 16th in Lincoln.
I guess it focuses a little more interest on it this year, but I don't know how much more interest could be focused than what happened last year in that championship game. So, Nebraska did what the Cornhuskers wanted to do. Nobody twisted their arm to get out of the Big 12, and so they'll be in the Big 10 it'll be the Big 12 for them now that they really had just 11 schools, and it'll be interesting to see how they do.
Mac Brown brought it up yesterday. He said that the game, he has such respect for the Nebraska program and for their fans, and from the times that Texas has gone up there, and that's what he said, wonderful memories. And obviously, it's easier to have for the memories to be pleasant when you win virtually every game, as they have the 8 out of 9 against them. So I guess that has something to do with also. But his point was well made about the Nebraska fan base, the tradition. That's a lot of what the Big Ten Conference is getting. But I don't think any of I think the atmosphere is still going to be something when Texas goes up there in October.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt. And I will say, and it's a point you alluded to, and that is that Nebraska fans historically have been among the most friendly, and even if they got beat, which was very, very seldom, but at least that they were able to take it in good grace. And when they would beat you, then they would come over and pat your back, try to make you feel good. And so anyway, it'll be interesting to see what lies now in store for the Cornhuskers.
Let's go on to Chris, who's up next. Chris, thanks for waiting. Good afternoon. Welcome to AM 1300 The Zone. You're on with Dave Campbell. It is a good question, Chris. Thanks very much for the call, because it's an ongoing process.
It's an ongoing process, and kids that will do well this fall will certainly, if they have eligibility remaining, they'll certainly be very prominent in our minds as we start next year. But really, the nuts and bolts of the high school section, the gathering really starts in January when we send out questionnaires to all the high schools. Coaches in the state, all the head coaches, and we asked them not only for information about their school, about their returning starters, and then their most prominent newcomers, and their sizes, weights, 40-yard times, and all that, but we also asked them not only to how far do you think your team can go in the playoffs, if they can make the playoffs, but is there a team in your district that you think is a real state title contender? And then we tried to digest all that, all those questionnaires, and of course now we've grown to the point where it's about 1,400 or more questionnaires, but try to wade through them starting from January on and put it all together.
Now, there were considerably fewer high schools in the state of Texas back when you were putting together the first edition back in 1960. But was the process the same, and was it very challenging that first time when you're sending out questionnaires across the state, and here's coaches in far-flung places getting questionnaires about a magazine that has never been out before, about wanting to know, about how many starters you have coming back and who are your key guys to watch and things like that. How challenging was it back then?
Well, I'll have to say this. The coaches were so cooperative. You're right. They had not been faced with questionnaires like that before. And I guess they perhaps were intrigued that they were getting such a questionnaire, and that there was maybe the presumption that someone had that they could produce a magazine like that. But anyway, they really responded with really great, really gave us real cooperation. And those who didn't cooperate immediately, we promptly sent them another questionnaire, and then a third questionnaire if we needed to, and finally a phone call. But, power and praise to the coaches. They were very cooperative from the very beginning, and that was, I think, had a lot to do with the success of the magazine from the very onset.
Next up is Don. Don, thank you very much for waiting. Good afternoon. You're on with Dave Campbell here on AM 1300 The Zone. Oh, we lost Don? Okay, all right, let's go back to the top. We'll go to Ray, who is up next. Hello, Ray. Welcome to AM 1300 The Zone.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, Ray.
Really glad to talk to you, Dave. I was in junior high, I guess, when your publication first came out, and I've always read it, and really looking forward to every signed copy of it.
Well, I appreciate your being such a long-time reader. You're among the people who've kept us in business.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm not sure you could play this off my copy. Anyway, I wanted just to ask you, with Nebraska getting out of Big 12, just to kind of get your thoughts on why they decided now to get out of Big 12 and just moving to the Big 10, that being the big small, and you just kind of your feeling for why they're going to get out.
Well, really, I haven't had an opportunity, and I don't know what kind of response I would get if I really tried to check into it, since they are leaving. But all I know is rumor that they had some ill feelings toward the Big 12, that the headquarters was not located in Kansas City, and they felt that the South was getting a lot of advantages. But really, I don't know. I've always had a feeling that Tom Osborne was a very class guy, and I think that his coaches have always treated me very, very nice. And I think they just felt that maybe the grass was greener in the Big Ten for them.
Yeah, a lot of this is so tied to money and the things of that nature. One thing that you and I talked about, Dave, was those schools that had to be very pleased to see the Big 12 Conference remain intact. Not only the ones who were the five schools, Baylor, Iowa State, Kansas State, Missouri, who were kind of out there on a limb, but even the ones who said, yeah, we're going to make the commitment to keep it going. Texas A&M, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State. That there probably will be more of that spirit of cooperation between these 10 now than perhaps ever existed between the 12 that have been together since '96.
I do think that's true, and I think it's a league that as over the years can really grow and kind of establish some traditions and some feelings, kind of an all-in-the-family thing like we used to have in the old Southwest Conference, and I certainly hope so. And I'm just very happy that the league is staying together to the degree it is. A Big Ten, that seems to me like a good round number.
All right, 390 live, our number 390-5483, pound 1300 for Sprint phone customers. Hang on, Ricky, because you're going to be up next, and Larry, you as well. Everyone who calls into the program this afternoon on the air with a question for Dave will receive an autographed copy of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine when we continue on AM 1300 The Zone.
www.hornstation.com. It's nice not having to pay for something free, interest free.
See, did I give you Ricky?
You gave me Ray.
Oh, okay.
Your credit card
Yeah.
should be